Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn to Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating in the Actuate Health Access Program, individuals gain the tools and knowledge needed to improve their health and the health of their communities. Our goal is to create a network of informed and proactive health custodians who can address health challenges in a sustainable and impactful way. Join us in this journey towards better health for all. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn to Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating in the Actuate Health Access Program, individuals gain the tools and knowledge needed to improve their health and the health of their communities. Our goal is to create a network of informed and proactive health custodians who can address health challenges in a sustainable and impactful way. Join us in this journey towards better health for all. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn to Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating in the Actuate Health Access Program, individuals gain the tools and knowledge needed to improve their health and the health of their communities. Our goal is to create a network of informed and proactive health custodians who can address health challenges in a sustainable and impactful way. Join us in this journey towards better health for all. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn to Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well, and thank you for joining to for today's session. Maybe before we start, Frida, kindly you can confirm whether I'm audible.
Yeah, Glory, audible. Hello, Glory.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening and welcome to today's session. Thank you for making time for this session. We do them routinely every Thursday, as you have heard in the video, with the goal to empower individuals to be custodians of their own well-being, of their own health, because it's the best way for us to be healthy. It's the best approach. Yeah, we can't rely on the government or any other person for your health. Yeah, so today's session, our topic for today is decentralized health research and data ownership. So before we start, let me take you through the meeting's agenda. We will have the topic presentation by our first speaker, with David Maingi. And as I have said, the topic is decentralized health research and data ownership. And then after that, we will have further remarks about today's topic from our CEO, Dr. Macharia Waruingi. And then we will have an interactive session. I encourage people to give their views, ask questions, comment, yeah, as we talk about the future of healthcare. Let's all participate. And then after that, we will have summit announcement, and then we will conclude the meeting. So allow me to welcome our topic master, Mr. David. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, welcome and go ahead.
Thank you. I'm glad to have this opportunity. Today, I'll be taking you through decentralized health research and data ownership. Today, we are diving into the exciting world of decentralized health research and data ownership, a concept that's transforming the healthcare landscape by giving individuals more control over their own health data. Let's start by looking at where we've been. Traditionally, health research has been centralized, meaning that large institutions like hospitals, pharmaceuticals, companies, and government agencies have held control over patient data. They've had the power to decide who can access this data and how it's used. This centralization has brought about challenges: limited access to data, lack of transparency, and concerns about data privacy. Patients often had very little say in how their personal health information was being used. And unfortunately, this centralized model has sometimes led to biases. Research has been restricted by who could participate, and findings have been shaped by institutional interests rather than the broader needs of society. Now, decentralized health research changes this dynamic entirely. Instead of having all the control sit with the large organizations, decentralization shifts the power and control of health data directly into the hands of patients and smaller entities. This model empowers individuals to own and manage their health data, deciding who can access it and for what purposes. Instead of being passive participants, patients become active partners in the research process. It's a move towards patient empowerment, where each partners in the research process, where each person has a say in how their data can contribute to advancing health knowledge. In addition to giving patients control, decentralized health research also brings a new level of transparency. Participants can actually see where their data is going, how it's being used, and how it benefits research of efforts. This approach builds trust between patients and researchers, as there is clear visibility into how personal information is handled and safeguarded. Decentralization also addresses a long-standing issue in the health research: diversity. With access to a broader global pool of participants, decentralized health research allows researchers to engage people from a variety of backgrounds and demographics, diversity and inclusivity in studies. On top of that, decentralized systems can use encryption to keep data secure. While patients hold permissions for access, blockchain technology, in particular, adds an extra layer of protection by making data tamper-proof and transparent. For example, blockchain platforms provide immutable records where information is securely stored and cannot be altered. They also enable the use of smart contracts, which establish predefined conditions for data sharing. This allows patients to be fairly compensated when their data is used for research. What we are seeing in the rise is the rise of a truly patient-centered approach. In this model, patients have sovereignty over their own data. They can participate in decentralized clinical trials from their homes, contributing health information in real time through mobile apps or wearable devices. These devices can constantly collect health data, allowing researchers to gather insights almost simultaneously and without the need for participants to travel to a physical site. This setup reduces research costs, increases conveniences, and ultimately encourages a wider pool of participants to get involved. Last but not least, of course, as promising as decentralized health research is, it's not without challenges. Regulatory standards are essential to ensure these new models of research still protect participants' rights and follow health data laws, such as GDPR in Europe or HIPAA in the United States of America. We also need to standardize data formats to ensure compatibility across different systems and platforms. And then there are ethical concerns. Decentralization can't come at the cost of fairness or participant safety, especially in vulnerable communities. To sum up, decentralized health research and data ownership are paving the way for a more inclusive, transparent, and secure future in healthcare. It's a vision where patients are at the heart of research. They're actively contributing their data in a secure, controlled way, and are at last, reaping benefits from being part of health research processes. This is a transformative step forward, not just for healthcare, but for how we as individuals can engage with and support the broader field of health science. Thank you, and that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, David, for that insightful presentation. Wow, we have really learned. We most of the times we wonder, like, why do we participate in a research as participants, or the sample population. But again, thereafter, we end up becoming passive partners in that research. No one tells us what happens thereafter. They just dump us. We don't know. They don't tell us the outcome. We are not involved after they collect our data. I think decentralizing the research will provide a solution to this and a more sustainable solution. So now I will, in case you have any question, you can be typing them on the chat box. Yeah, if you have any comment, you type them, then we will address them later. So now I will welcome Dr. Macharia, our CEO, to give us additional remarks about the topic. Dr. You're welcome.
Okay, Glory, can you hear me? Confirm.
Yes, we can hear you, Doc.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David. As we talked last time, we found that you are the David who slung that stone and knocked down the big giant called Goliath. I can tell you, research, the biomedical research is a big Goliath. It's a very, very huge Goliath. I think it's bigger than Goliath. It's like Goliath put together, several of them, like 1,000,000 times. Why is medical research such a huge problem to us people in Africa? First of all, for medical research is expensive. There's no doubt about that. These regulations say like Food and Drug Administration in the United States or the medical licensing group in the United Authority in Europe, the European Medical Board, it makes it very, very expensive to conduct medical research. So medical research has got the preclinical trials, which are usually animal studies. And then you have to, when you are testing the lethal dose of whatever you want to apply to human, before you can even bring it to human, you have to test it on animals. Then when you come to the human studies, you have to do clinical trials in 4 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So each phase is to test some particular outcome for that particular medication, whatever you're testing, or tablet. So, and then you have to collect that data. Where does data come from? You're collecting that data from people, human beings. That's why it's called human research. Either you are taking blood samples, or you're taking their stool samples, or you're taking their skin samples, whatever samples you're taking. So there has to be humans involved in giving some part of themselves to the researchers so that the researchers can go and do the analysis. And then when they do the analysis, they generate data. Now, the big concern here is that most people who are in independent people, they are wealthy people. Wealthy people are not just going to give you their body parts to examine. They're not going to give you blood just for free. That's why they're wealthy, because they don't give things for free. And they're not going to give their own tissue to anyone to just go and do whatever they want. And that makes a lot of people living in European countries and places like United States. So if people want to get the data for approval for their whatever they are testing, whether it's a new medication, they go to a place where people do not know their rights of their blood being taken, or their samples being taken, or things like that being taken. That place is called Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know where that is in Africa. And when they go to Africa, they go to the places where they're going to get least opposition. They go and into places they call slums like Kibera, or slums like Kawangware, and slums like where? Madare Valley. And so people living in slum areas become the guinea pigs. Meaning that anyone can come there and tell them, okay, we are doing this research study. Can you come and line up and we draw your blood? You say, yeah, sure, come. And we can even give you 10 shillings, you know, to make you feel good about the blood they have just taken. And when they are taking your blood samples or they're taking your body tissues, they don't tell you that that data is very important. Whether that blood you've given is going to give them approval for a blockbuster drug, which is going to make them billions of dollars. So that you don't know, you do not know. So they're using your own body, yourself, to come and make a lot of money. Now, close to 90% of the data that is used for approving medications by the federal drug, FDA, Federal Drug Administration, it comes from developing countries. It doesn't come from the United States. FDA of United States approved medication using data that is coming from collected somewhere, say like in Kibera, in Naivasha, in Nyeri, but not in Boston. Why? Because to collect such data in Boston is supremely expensive because you have to pay the patients because the patients are aware. So, for example, if to participate in a clinical trial, on average, just one phase of a study, the least phase you pay a patient about $400. $400 to participate in a study. 400. That is how many shillings? 400 times 400 times 100. That's like 40,000, almost 50,000 shillings, just to participate in a study. That's what they would pay you to participate in a study in Boston. And that's for clinical, maybe phase 1 or phase 2. Phase 2, and when it gets even into upper phase, like phase 4, the price becomes even much more to pay per patients. So instead of paying someone $400 here, they can go to Kibera and pay 10 shillings. Or even they can pay the person 100 shillings. But they don't. Then when that data comes and they crunch it, they analyze it, they take it to the FDA, it gets analyzed. You will never hear, like what Gloria said, you will never hear back from them. So I know how this works and I've participated in both ends. In Kenyatta National Hospital, we used to get a lot of young guys coming from, say, Boston or Washington State, in Seattle, and they ask us to recruit patients. I tell you, what they would do, say a guy comes to the protocol and tells you, okay, listen, can you help me recruit patients? I need 2,000 patients to conduct this study. So us as medical students, we will be sent out to the field to recruit patients. Either we go to Kibera or the patients that are coming to the clinics, we enter them into the clinical trial. So we actually take the samples and we give the samples away. That's what they would do. They were not even paying us as medical students. Even the young guys, the young registrar doctors, they're all participating in this whole thing. And then they just participate in, interpreting the language, telling the patients that now we need to take blood samples. Many of those patients do not even know they are participating in a trial, by the way. They do not know because they have come to the hospital, say like at KNH, Kenya National Hospital, and they're just thinking they're coming for the clinics. And these guys are doing their study. They're actually testing their medications. Some of those randomized trials, placebo-controlled trial. They could be taking placebo and they don't know. Nobody tells them anything. Now we talk about ethics in medicine. And that's where the whole thing collapses. Now, there's some who do not even need to go through a large hospital. So like Kenyatta, they go direct to communities without having to go through a large establishments like the Kenyatta National Hospital. They are still going to collect data. They're going to collect samples. And then they either analyze it there in the country or they ship them into Europe or United States for analysis. See, that has happened, this centralized system. And why that occurs is because of who is paying that money. Because that process of research to get a drug approved by the FDA cost more than $1.2 billion. Some of the, and you see that can take even 10 years to go through stages of clinical trials. 4 stages, we're not talking about millions, we're talking about $1 billion that a company has to invest to get its own drugs approved. And that comes with truckloads of data. When that data was printed on paper, they used to deliver those papers in pickup trucks. Because here in Boston, so one company, some guys told me that the data that they had to deliver to FDA went up to 14 pickup trucks. They have to rent 14 pickup trucks to load paperwork to take to Washington, D.C. to FDA for review. That is just one time around the one clinical trial. Imagine how much the FDA now has to employ lots of people to go through that data. Now at least the system is digital, is electronic, but that does not reduce the volume of data that is required to approve one medication. Now, besides the volume of data, we're talking about the volume of money that is required to do that. Now, raising that money is extremely difficult because when you are doing research for a product to which market you are not sure, you don't know whether the product will be approved by the FDA. It could mean that after spending $1 billion, the FDA might just reject your application for approval, and that means that your drug cannot go to market. So what is that cause? That is a very, very high risk investment. So that's very high risk investment. Now, in Africa, we don't have a way of even comprehending how to hedge our risk, such risk. Let's say even hedging a risk for $1 million, we don't know. How can we hedge a risk for $1 billion investment? We do not know because we do not have developed capital markets. The Capital Markets Authority in Kenya cannot comprehend how to hedge $1 billion investment. $1 billion, we are talking about one company. Now, what about all the people trying to translate their products into commercial? We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars being subjected to extremely high risk, being exposed to high risk. That risk exposure is what inhibits us, it prohibits us from forming capital for this kind of stuff, for research, for biomedical research, because it's from the financial standpoint, is an extremely risky affair because it costs a lot of money to get approved, costs a lot of data. It's very, very expensive to obtain that data. Particularly in the United States, you would have to go to somewhere. People are not aware that they should be paid for providing their body to samples, and so they cannot participate. So you can see there are two problems. One problem is how do you form such capital that can withstand such high risk? The other problem is awareness. How do you make sure that the people who are providing their samples are actually knowledgeable enough to agree to give informed consent? Are they informed? That's what's called ethics of research. So you can see if you're talking about informed consent, which means that somebody should agree to participate in research because they actually know what the research is all about. That you can know that's a requirement for informed consent for ethical conduct of research. A lot of that research is completely unethical. But you see, when they're presenting to the approving agency, whether it's in Europe or in the United States, they are going to say all these patients actually gave informed consent. Yeah. Then if you go back and ask those patients whether they actually gave informed consent, they have actually no clue what that is. So Africa becomes like this huge laboratory full of guinea pigs where anyone can go in there and extract any type of material, yes, samples, that they can take it to their computers and do analysis, or they can take it to the lab and then analyze it. Now, I'm very glad that we have decentralized finance because it's going to make that go away. Number one, decentralized finance is able to compose that capital which can withstand that high risk. Raising $1 billion on the blockchain is not a complicated issue, because with that high risk money was what was so difficult to even understand. How would you raise $1 billion that you are not sure that is going to, you don't have any surety or certainty. So you don't have any certainty that after using all that money, the drug is going to get approved. You see, now on the decentralized finance platform, we can hedge such risks through the liquidity pools, and of course, creating hedging mechanisms on the blockchain that are way superior than anyone has ever seen before, because we have technology for doing that. So it becomes possible to raise money. And then it is possible to raise money from very many people. You see, when money becomes very risky, if it's coming out of one pocket or two pockets, but instead of one person or two people, you have 1 million people participating. So the risk is shared globally, shared among very, very many people. And what is even much more fascinating is that the people who would be contributing in the research are the same people who are also contributing the samples, so they actually have direct say. As we said, that it allows participation of the end user, the person on the ground, like somebody in Kibera or someone in Kawagware who is now being exploited by these research giants. That person can participate in funding the research, okay, by buying tokens or even putting them in the liquidity pools, and then that provides the money needed to get approval from the government agencies. And so it helps to fight the money. For example, if you need $1 billion and you had 1 million people participating, each person could contribute $1,000. See? But I'm sure if you have 1 billion people participating, each person is only $1. See? So that's why we have to work very hard and make sure that this gospel of the actual token has spread widely, because if we can now get as many people to participate, buying those tokens, creating liquidity pools, then we are going to take the power back and give it to the patient. Now, medical research itself is dense with information, or even say medical practice, dense with information. And the information is very, very highly specialized information that someone you could say, ordinary person, it may not comprehend all this medical jargon and whatever that you guys are doing, because it's all written in high science. What that creates is what's called information asymmetry. That what the patient can know let's even not talk about patients. What an ordinary person can know, whether it's a patient or not, because you have people who are here, they're participating in research. What that kind of person can know, let's call that person Mwananchi. What Mwananchi can know is so different from what the actual researcher can know. Researchers, maybe they're trained in medicine, they have PhDs, and then they have they have a high density of technical knowledge. It's called jargon. So that technical jargon is not even knowable by an ordinary person. And that creates what's called information asymmetry. And when we have centralized systems, they don't even have the need to interpret that knowledge to make it actually understandable by ordinary people. They don't care. See? So in fact, they exploit that information asymmetry because the harder the language looks, the harder the language is, the more they are able to exploit the people because they don't have to explain anything. They give you a big medical term. What are you going to do about it? They're just going to tell you it's a medical term. You have no clue what it means. But what most people do, when they come across such big medical terms, they actually smile and assume that they actually have understood. They haven't understood anything. Okay? And that information asymmetry is the one that is exploited thoroughly. Even to say, when they're talking about informed consent, for example, even a word like informed consent, ordinary people on the street will not know what it means. What's an informed consent? What are the characteristics of that informed consent? What are the properties of informed consent? And then they make you sign at the bottom, such that when they're now coming to the government, they're saying, oh, they signed the informed consent, so they're actually fully informed. That is not true. Yes, but now, when we have decentralized finance with Actuate token, even in a program like this, it's going to help us build awareness. That's through massive community education. Like, what is research? What are those people doing? For example, let me tell you something is mind-blowing, will blow your mind here. You see, Naivasha Hospital in Naivasha, in Nakuru County, is the leading hospital in research in tropical medicine. Can you believe that? If you're going to read the journals of tropical medicine, you're going to find Naivasha Hospital there. How many people living in Naivasha know anything about that? And they can actually say, that hospital, you say, we are the leaders in tropical medicine research. How does Naivasha Hospital become the leading center in biomedical research? How is it? And even people in Naivasha themselves don't know. Even doctors working in Naivasha, they do not know that. And yet it's getting published in the journals, international journals. It's the leading center in biomedical research. Yeah, that is question for the champion. It's not too complicated. Now we have people funding research. They come to Naivasha, and Naivasha becomes a good center where we have access to people who are not very wealthy. And just like Kibera, they can get them, to contribute all their blood samples and all the stuff, but they don't tell them. Even when they publish that work, they don't bring that work to people on Naivasha to read it because they're assuming these people are illiterate. They have no respect for those people. And that's not just Naivasha. Kenya is I was actually stunned one day. I was reading this European journal, what's it, Lancet, and it stated that Kenya is a country that is leading about knowledge, leading in knowledge about malaria in the world. Did you know that we know more about malaria than anybody else in this world? Yeah. Then if you read that Lancet, in other articles, you would say that Kenya has the highest incidence of death due to malaria for pregnant women and for small babies, infant mortality, and children under 5. We are leading those both statistics. We are leading in the statistic about having the greatest amount of knowledge about malaria, but we are also leading in the statistics about killing the largest number of people in the world with malaria. See, this is called a paradox. That's what I call a relevance paradox. How is it that we can know so much about malaria and yet malaria kills so many people in the presence of that knowledge? What does that tell you about that knowledge? What does that tell you? It tells you that you seem to know about knowledge, but you don't have a clue about malaria. You see, you seem to have so much knowledge about malaria, yet we are clueless about malaria. How can such things exist in the same condition? It's a contradictions. It's a contradiction. And what you want to understand is contradictions don't exist. Contradiction does not exist. There's no contradiction anywhere. It means that someone is cheating, lying to us. And who is lying? You know, the fact that babies die is not a lie. So the lie is whoever is saying that Kenya has the greatest knowledge about malaria. It's not Kenya that has knowledge about malaria. It's not people in Kenya who have got the greatest knowledge about malaria. It is people coming from outside, prodding and poking on Kenyans and taking out their blood samples and then going to talk about malaria in their quarters there. Because they get that information unethically from Kenyan people, then they go bragging about that Kenya has all this knowledge. That knowledge is not in Kenya. It's not actually in the Kenyans' consciousness. If we were to go and ask Mr. Ruto, the president of Kenya, how much do you know about malaria? Did you know that we are the leading people in knowledge about malaria? Then he's to say, oh, and what about all those babies dying about malaria? Then he would start punishing his doctors, saying, you guys, we know you seem to know so much about malaria, but you're letting it kill our children. Yeah. So it means that we actually do not know squat. We don't know anything. It's a story, it's a narrative. And this is the narrative of the centralized research, centralized medical research. And that is what has to go away. Now, if people in Kenya are actually participating in that knowledge, they will actually demand to know what now Kenyans are calling public participation. They would actually demand to know, why is this malaria killing our children? Yeah. And if we know so much about malaria. So it's bringing the people into research, getting them not only to be people donating their bodies to research, but now participating in the use of that knowledge that comes out of that, whatever they're giving out for research. See? And only the decentralized system can do that. It can align now what people hope to achieve with what they are doing, so that we get alignment. That alignment is what is missing. With a misalignment, but of course, I can tell you that we're going to definitely meet a lot of resistance, because this industry, say the biomedical research industry, is multi-trillion-dollar industry, lots of money. In fact, biomedical research, for let's say pharmaceutical manufacturing and all that biomedical devices, is the second highest capitalized type of business in this world, business sector, way ahead of petroleum. So we always hear about petroleum companies making lots of money. Now, there are people who make a lot more money than the petroleum industry. But they don't talk about it. You don't hear about it because it is dense with complexities. And that is biomedical research. It has a lot of money, but a lot of risk. But really people don't talk about it because it's supposed to be not a mainstream conversation. And so these are the things. And so thank you so much, David, for bringing this up. And we need to publish this in Weavi. And this is really what we are talking about. And for you, who is here, and all the people in Africa, the way we get out of this rat, let's call it a rat, R-U-T. The way we get out of this is by getting Actuate token. Because that Actuate token is a blockchain. Blockchain is able to solve this problem 100%. As David explained to us, that getting the people who really have not been allowed to participate, giving them the seat at the decision-making table. They can actually make decisions about what's happening with the data that's coming from the samples they give, how they get paid. We get paid for the samples, just like if you now try to collect sample from a person in Boston, you're going to pay $400. That those $400 they can be paid even to someone in Kibera. And in fact, if that person in Kibera gets paid $400 per study, cannot live in Kibera but to be living in Karen. Okay, so they can go across the road on the other side of the road in Langata. They can enter into Karen and start living in mansions because the work that what they're contributing to the knowledge in medicine in the world is like a gold mine. Okay, what we are talking about is the technology for putting the last first, because it is written, and the first shall become the last, and the last shall become the first. In Matthew, that's what Matthew said. Now, David, remember Matthew. Matthew said that when you come to get this to decentralized finance, the last shall become first. That means that you bring those fringe stakeholders, those stakeholders who are all in the periphery of the entire research enterprise. These are the people we go to collect samples in Africa. Because those people in Naivasha they get a seat in the decision-making table, and they're actually there even to partake of the product of the research that they usually generously contribute without knowing. Okay, so that is the story about research. Very, very dense and very heavy duty and very sad story. Because I can tell you, when you are medical students, it's something I did tell you. After, they have made us recruit the patients. See, they would come with the tablets, drugs with their testing. For example, they say we are doing a hypertension study, that's blood pressure medication. So all the patients with high blood pressure, we call them and they are now receiving free samples. So they are taking tablets. The patients do not know they are free samples. They think these are drugs that they're using, that they are going to use them for maintenance. After a while, maybe the study goes on for 6 months. After a while, the study is finished at the end of the protocol, and then they leave us with patients. And the patient come back for the next clinic and they ask you, where are the tablets? There is no medicine. The medicine is gone. So the next thing you hear is that patient died of a stroke because the medicine, the blood pressure went out of control. So they were testing whether this medication is effective for controlling blood pressure. And indeed it's controlling blood pressure. But when they get that answer, you don't see them again. I am talking about those research scientists that are now there. So, and there's nobody to tell them, listen, after you finish the study, you have to continue these therapies forever and ever. But they don't do that because there's nobody who requires them to continue doing that. Another thing that I found that was extremely saddening was women with cancer, breast cancers and cervical cancer. So they would get us recruiting those women. So a guy comes saying he's doing research on cancer, women cancer. And then we do studies, first of all, doing all those pap smears. And we do those pap smears and then we collect samples. And when they detect in a pap smear, they detect cancerous cell. They give the diagnosis. This one is stage 1 or stage 2, this. And then the study goes on. And then when the study is finished, based on their protocol, they leave. So they leave you with someone who knows now they have cancer. This cancer is progressing, but there's no treatment. Yeah. And then we are medical students. We say, what are we supposed to do with all these people who have cancer? They are left to us. So we admit them to the ward. Then the professor comes and says, these patients are admitted here, but you don't have any treatment. They're just occupying bed space. Discharge them so that they can go and, deal with the cancer at home with their loved ones. That was the nature it was. But But I hope things are changing now a little bit. But that was very, very sad that you could make diagnosis because they come with very good diagnostic tests. And then after the study protocol is finished, that means they either say they're going to spend their 6 months, they do 6 months, and then they pack up and go. They even leave you the equipment because they don't need them anymore. But those equipment have no reagents. You don't have any reagents that you cannot use them anymore. That's the story. So you get abandoned. So you see, they spend a lot of money, even buying such equipment, shipping them all the way into the continent, and getting to recruit patients. They come and test the equipment, the patient, the equipment, and then after that, they leave with the patient with the equipment they're gonna leave there, but then you have no reagents. You don't even have the resources to use that equipment. In any case, even if you use the equipment for making diagnosis, you cannot treat because you do not have the therapies that are necessary to treat. See? So that is it was like an altar of sacrificing our own people. Altar for sacrificing our own people. And for the benefit of research knowledge to approve medications so we may save some other people. Those medications, even after they're approved, you're not going to find them in that place. They don't after the medication is approved, maybe 5 or 10 years later, you're not going to find it getting distributed into the place. Like in Kibera, that medication is for sale. It's going to be sold. It's going to be patented for the next 18 years. It's patented and sold to those people who have got money to buy that medication. Then if you don't have money in Kibera, how will you ever be able to buy such medication? So let us embrace decentralized finance. Everyone go get Actuate token today in the PancakeSwap. If you don't know how to do that, see Mr. Ronald Anthony. And first of all, you cannot do that if you don't have a wallet. Create a wallet, Trust Wallet or MetaMask. And then after you bought your Actuate token, create a liquidity pool and get an NFT number. As we said in the beginning of week, or maybe last week, is that NFT number will help you come to the summit. You don't have to pay the $150, which is about 20,000 shillings. But if you want to pay 20,000 shillings, don't do all these things. But because you don't want to pay 20,000 shillings, get an NFT number. And then we meet in the summit in December. Back to you, Glory. And thank you so much, David. Now you can see, David, why you need a slingshot that's really tough. So you can aim at this Mr. Goliath, which is research, the biomedical research. Centralized biomedical research. I think that slingshot is the actual token itself. You see that? Actual token is able to bring that down, is able to bring down that Goliath. Okay, so back to you, Glory.
Thank you, Dr. Ari, for those powerful remarks. Yeah, indeed, we need to have a decentralized health research. And to achieve all these, people have to be empowered. And that's what we are focusing on here at Actuate Health Access. And that's why these sessions happens every Thursday, so that we come together, we share, we exchange ideas on how we can create a better future in healthcare. So and also we have a summit at Kenyatta University, and as Dr. Ari has said, we want everyone in the summit. It's all inclusive. It's not for the people who have money only. As Daktari has said that now it's for everyone. The blockchain, we mind everyone. So in the summit, we have a free pass. What does this mean? It means that you only need to obtain at least 5 Actuate tokens from the Pancake Swap, and then you use these Actuate tokens to create a liquidity pool. Once you create a liquidity pool, you will get the NFT number. So make sure you have that NFT number, and this now will be like your ticket number. You see now, you don't need. Okay, if you have $150, well, you're welcome, but we are accommodating everyone. So if you don't have, create that liquidity pool, get the NFT number, and then we will have you in our summit. So this summit, as we say every time, we have the summit has already gained interest. It has become popular to many people, many organizations. You don't want to miss. Yeah, we have I will ask Ronald kindly on the chat box to share the program, the speakers list, and our partners. Yeah, for you to check later. We have experts from different sectors, from health, tech, and senior people in this country. All the people that you would think you would imagine you will never meet them, they will be there. For example, we have a Bitangen demo ambassador. We also have the C4D lab of the University of Nairobi. We have Professor Abade, and also in health access session, yeah, so we have so many partners, very many workshops, the infotech workshop, mental health workshop, health access workshop, and these workshops are already flooded. Prominent speaker. Idea, bring all your innovative ideas, and you will compete in the summit. Yeah, we are also friend, or you have a company, you have a business, all the businesses, the SMEs that would like to exhibit at our summit. We still have the spaces for them. So I'll tell them to hurry this week to make sure that they have secured a spot. We are also looking for sponsors. So we have different sponsorship packages. So if you bring a sponsor, you get 5% of what that sponsor offers. Yeah, and those that are interested in acquiring the Actuate tokens, how to get them from Pancake Swap, how to create liquidity pool, you can always reach out to me or Ronald. And you can also check the links that you can later check the links that Ronald has shared to understand more about our summit. I will welcome Daktari to give more remarks. about the same.
Okay. I don't know many more remarks about this. All that the summit is coming very, very fast. It's almost landed. But by the way, there's still time to get a sponsor. And many sponsors, you'll be surprised. This is the time to get them. Because they now can see anyone anyone you talk to will say yes to sponsoring, because they can see the summit has really taken form. And our people in Kenya, we like to do things that others are doing, because a lot of people can see now, wow, this summit has got so many people coming, I want to be there. So anyone tell them to come, because you don't want to be the one to be blamed later. They'll be asking you, so you knew this and you didn't tell us. And you say, I didn't think you would be integral. Don't think about it. Just tell them, invite them. So the idea in all these kinds of things is that don't spend time thinking about it or even worrying about it. It's not your job to think about it. Your job is just to tell them. If you find yourself thinking about it or thinking whether you should tell them or not, you're doing a job that's not yours. Your job is just to tell them. It's up to them to think about it, to make a decision. Because whether you like it or not, they're going to blame you for not telling them. And those people we're talking about who could be sponsors, even attendees, are people who are very, very instrumental in your own career, that they will also help you find, improve your professional life as well. The summit itself has found very huge responses. There's a lot of high profile professionals, no doubt about that. And we're still having people asking whether we can give them opportunity to speak. Now, the hardest part is that we have more than 100 speakers and we have only 4 days. How do we fit all these people? We're going to work very hard and see if we can make it possible for everyone to have a voice, to participate, to speak. That's why we're making multiple workshops, breaking the summit down in multiple workshops, so that everybody, every person, yourself, and all your friends, each person gets an opportunity to express themselves. Not just expressing just like words, expressing to the point that you can actually even form a company, and then figure out how to finance that company, how to fund it, capital formation. So we have invited people in all walks of life, including people in capital investors. If you have great ideas and you don't know how to fund them, come to the summit. I can guarantee you, unless you are very, very shy, you don't like to talk to people. First of all, leave that shyness at home. So don't come with your shyness in your pocket. You release it. You untie that you untie that shyness, wherever it's attached. Slay that attachment. That's why it's written in scriptures, I come with a sword. You know what that means? It's for you to slay the shyness that prevents you from presenting yourself to people. Okay? That's what the sword is all about. Remember, that guy was on the white horse in Revelation. Revelation had how many horses? There was one white horse. And he had a sword coming out of his mouth. That sword, its work is to slay the attachments that hold you back. Okay? I come with a sword. That is to slay the shyness that you may have for presenting yourself. Now we're giving this to you for free. And in fact, you're going to make money even when you're giving it by buying Actuate token. When you say buying, it's not really buying, it's swapping, swapping your Kenya shillings into Actuate tokens. So your Kenya shillings are going to still be there, but in a different form. transmutated. So transformation. You transform your Kenya shillings into Actuate token, create a liquidity pool and get that NFT number. Now, a liquidity pool is likely to make profit for you because that's what liquidity pools are for. So, can see really we are bending over backward. We are bending over backward, almost all the way to lie down to the ground, bending over backward, telling you, come in. Now you have to slay that shyness. Anything that stops you from doing this, slay them, because you are in charge. You cannot be in charge if you're held by shyness, by fear, by unbelief. If you don't believe what's happening. Now, if you have unbelief, you are not worthy. Don't even bother. Stay home. But this is only for those people who believe in decentralized systems. And that's the science of age of the 21st century. Now, if you want to be in the 21st century, you must be in a state of belief. Then, if you unbelieve, you're in a dangerous state, because you're going back to the 20th century. See, nobody's going back there, where things were centralized and the research was the way I've explained to you. So you have to slay it down with a sword. That's why I said I come down with a sword to slay those attachments. Okay, then come prepared to speak to people. Bring your best smile. You don't have to be expensively dressed, but be well, just be well dressed, but doesn't mean expensive. A nice shirt, clean shirt, trousers, a nice skirt, nice blouse, so that you're clean and you're presentable. Come ready to meet people, okay? And come with an open mind. Come ready to present your idea. People are very happy to hear what you have. They're waiting for you to come and shine. Then you come and unleash that brilliance of yours, because nobody lights a lamp and covers it with a bushel. Whoever does that, no one. So when you light a candle, you put it on the candlestick, or you put it on the stall so that people can see. You are a beacon of light. That light is what we want to see shining at the summit. We're giving you the opportunity to come and shine that light, so that when people look at you, they can see that light, and they can see where we are going. Today I had many conversations with a lot of people, including the director of industrial development in Kenya. And I told him the concern we have is that we have so much knowledge in our academic institutions, and that knowledge does not go into the industry. It doesn't help to create industries. And he said he agrees. And I said, why is it that problem persists? It's because we are not creating a bridge for that knowledge. If the knowledge stays in the university, or say in your academic organization, in your college, even when you graduate, that knowledge is not going to follow you. By the way, your knowledge will not come following you out there. We have to create a pathway for that knowledge to come to you where you are going to be after graduating. If that knowledge does not leave the university, this means there will be no job for you to do. The job created for the knowledge that you have in the university, so you can apply it. That job is known as a company. Okay, there will be no companies to hire you, and those companies will be lacking because the university has not situated itself to create companies, even to create new industries. Okay, so when I was talking to this director for industrial development, he tells me that we need to work on this so we can create new industries that are going to accommodate our graduating young people. There are so many, but then they graduate from university, they go back to the village. The village is not looking for them. That's why it sent them to school, so that after that, they come to the village and set up an industry for manufacturing the products that are coming out of the soil in the village. Okay, but not coming to the village without an industry for manufacturing those products. So you are going to get the knowledge for how to create that industry for manufacturing the products that are coming from the soil, from wherever you came from, at the summit, in the workshops. You come there prepared to do that. If you don't create the industry yourself, you're going to fight people who are going to create those industries, because they are definitely going to be people who are going to create industries, and those people will become your primary employers. Okay, they give you jobs. That's what we are talking about. And so come there prepared with your resume, so impress people about with your knowledge. Tell them this is what I know how to do, and then those people can hire you. Think of it as going there to network to find your next job. If you have a job, or to find your first job, or to build your career. Okay? And all we're asking you to do is get that NFT number, because if you don't get that NFT number, yeah, you will not be coming. Nobody's going to get admitted without NFT number. Why? Because remember the parable of, what is it? It was this king who invited people for a wedding banquet. And then he told people to go and dress up. And then everybody came and very well dressed. But one guy showed up and he was not dressed up. This parable is in Matthew. Then when the owner of the king, I think the king of the banquet, he called that guy and told him, okay, everybody here is all dressed up and you are not dressed up. What happened? He said, oh, I did not think it was serious. I just walked in here because I don't think they need to dress up. Guess what? He was told, go away and don't come back. All right? That parable means that when you were invited and you're given something for free, just take it. I mean, buying the dress, getting the dress for the banquet to celebrate, even you could make up that dress at home. But the guy was too lazy to even make a dress, but he just wanted to participate in the banquet without even bothering to look for the dress, get dressed up. Let me tell you, that's what kingdom of God is like. Because he was answering the question, what's the kingdom of God like? Kingdom of God is like a wedding banquet. When you're invited, you dress up for the banquet. Because a man came without dressed up, and then what happened to him? He was kicked out, and that was that. So don't get kicked out because you don't have NFT number. That'd be a shame for you. So, and if you don't know that parable in Matthew, maybe someone can tell us what it is in Matthew. I think it's parable of the wedding banquet or something like that. Read about it so you see how you can make sense out of it. What the NFT number is like. It's for you to be dressed up so that you can receive it. It's called preparation. You have to be prepared in your consciousness to participate. You cannot participate because after that, it means that you really understand how to create a liquidity pool. And now when the push comes to shove in the liquidity pool, you will be among the many. Because many are called, few will be chosen. Chosen is not anybody who chooses you, it's you who choose yourself by doing the right things. So right now what you're saying, create wallets if you don't have one. If you don't know, ask for help. Get Actuate token from PancakeSwap, create a liquidity pool, get that NFT number. Don't show up in the wedding banquet or don't show up at the summit without NFT number. That's a shame. We are not of them that presents ourselves in a shameful fashion. Okay, that's only $10, by the way. And then if you can't do that, then what can we say? We can say this one would like to come to the wedding banquet and underdressed, yeah, unprepared. You must be ready. You must be ready. I insist upon that. The reason I do that, if you're talking about your career, don't show up and then you're not ready even to present yourself. There's no use for us to call all these high-profile people, and then the least you can do is present yourself, and then you don't do it. That would be big abomination. That's called abomination. Abomination is adventure in missing the point. Yeah, we don't like to do things that we are missing a point. We like to be pointed. So that we can help each other, help yourself, so that you may also be helped. And don't say that you do not have anything, because you have that already. What you want to say, you want to be, we want to be of them that acknowledge things that you have, and you celebrate them. What you have is the opportunity to participate. So because those who have, even more is given and they have abundance. So you want to be on the side of abundance. But those who do not have, even the little they think they have is taken away and they have nothing. So you want to be among them that have. And if you think you don't have, even the little you think you don't have will be taken away. So yeah, don't get your little taken away because you're saying you don't have. Mhm. Do not get your little taken away, but by saying you don't have, say that you have abundance and you're going to get that liquid pool done so you get NFT number. Never ever even allow that kind of thinking to get in your mind that you don't have, you can't have not a good thing to do, because as soon as you say that, it means that you don't have, you will never have. You have it already. All you have to do is say, I have this, I've got this, I have this, and then do it. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think that's what I would like to add about that. And thank you so much. Back to Glory.
Thank you, Daktari, for those powerful remarks. Now I hope all of us have understood what is required of us, and that we all have an equal chance, a fair chance to participate in the summit. So the summit is like, it's on that yeah, from that to 6, so it's like 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks from now. So let's prepare to attend. Let's start creating the liquidity pools and start obtaining the NFT numbers. Let's not be the last minute people. Let's prepare in advance. So thank you for joining. We will keep these conversations until we get to the summit. Yeah, so we are coming to close to the end of the meeting. So I have shared the attendance form. This is, we incentivize our sessions, our learning sessions, because we value your time that you dedicate for this. So we reward you with Actuate tokens. So make sure you fill the attendance form. So unless you have, maybe anyone has any other concern, once you fill the attendance form, you're free to leave. So I think we can adjourn the meeting. Yeah, bye everyone.